Hey folks, it's me, Screamin' Sammy Sketch, aka the Sketch Man, coming at you, and I am in wonderful California, Potrero. Am I saying that right?
That is correct.
And your name is Jason.
It is.
But you go by somebody else this weekend, don't you?
I do. I am Lord Andrew Fairfax.
Lord Andrew Fairfax. Describe that. What is that? Like, how is an SCA persona born?
Basically, you express an interest in a particular time period. And in my case, I was interested in late period. So I am a late period Englishman, about the 14th century, late 14th century. So I picked the last name Fairfax because that's my favorite medieval composer. And Andrew happens to be my middle name.
And obviously you're wearing a media sash. You're here working with us today.
I am.
Thank you for volunteering your time to walk around with us. Now you normally like to do the fighting.
I do indeed. I'm actually out there on the heavies field. I'll be typically swinging a sword and carrying a shield and wearing 100 pounds of armor.
Now do you make all of that yourself? Did you make all of this, or is this purchased?
This particular outfit is mostly purchased. In the past I have made armor, both brigandine and plate mail. And also a good chunk of my clothing as well.
Now, what drew you into the SCA? You've been doing this for a long time, haven't you?
I have. When I first heard about the SCA, I had a friend who worked with me at community college, and we talked about it. We never actually got involved, and then I went to UCSD, and there was an archery club on campus. And so, and they did archery, and then they also did war, and so I came to a Potrero War. And it was a lot of fun.
There's a lot of talk about the fighting and everything, but we started this off, you mentioned the 14th century late period. How much of this is sort of like an educational or a learning experience as well?
A lot of it. You know, you learn about the different styles of armor, you learn about the different cultures that were involved in Europe, and it changes throughout time. Our time period for the SCA stops at the end of the reign of Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
So
where does it start?
It starts, you can go back as far as you want. So we actually have some Greeks running around. It goes back to the classical Greece, and I will see a Bronze Age guy running around. Typically, it starts at the fall of Rome, 473 AD, and runs up to 1600.
Wow, that's and like not just the fighting and the combat, but you get into the arts and the sciences of the ages as well, right?
Yeah, so you can do heraldry, you can do painting silk banners, you can do leatherworking, metalworking, jewelry making, carpentry, you name it. Any skill that they would have done back then, we practice. We try to figure out how they did it and why they did it the way they did it, and have fun doing it.
When we say your outfit here is purchased, it was still probably made by an SCA member.
That's right.
By hand, in some fashion similar to the way they would have done it back then.
That's correct, yeah, and out of materials that they had back then. So this is linen. These are little bitty wooden buttons, and leather shoes.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your war to come and spend time with us. Folks, you'll see this guy a lot in the videos. So let's, make sure we thank this guy, because we appreciate you sacrificing your time.
You're welcome.
So the hay bales over here, they set up in different configurations for different battles each day. Sometimes it'll be a castle that one team will be under siege and the other one will be defending. Sometimes they'll set it up like a bridge that you have to defend. We use sword simulators, a nylon sword. They are a little flexible, so if you actually hit someone with them, they're not going to take a lot of damage, which is why you're not going to have to wear a ton of armor. And a fencing mask. You have to wear some gloves that'll cover your hand, closed-toed shoes, elbow pads. And that's your minimum armor requirement for that. The difference between a Renaissance fair and what we do is a Renaissance fair is doing this for the love of doing it, but also for an audience. We're doing this for the love of doing this, and we don't really have an audience. So that's kind of why you'll see a slightly different feel here than you would see at a Renaissance fair. The nice thing about the SCA for me, you are as period as you would like to be. Right now, if I were to go back to the time frame that this dress was from, my forearms are showing and I would probably be stoned. The nice thing about the SCA though is that, we recreate the fun parts of the Middle Ages, and we do it the way that it ought to have been, not the way that it necessarily was. Do the parts that make you happy.
Hey folks, we are here with Lady Isolde. She actually took us around on our Newcomer Tour. First, how long have you been being part of the SCA?
So I've actually only been in for exactly 2 years. Today is my 2-year anniversary with the SCA. So I've been in for 2 years. It was my Potrero was actually my first event.
Excellent. What made you want to get involved in this? What about the SCA really drew you in?
Well, a friend and I were talking about the fact that I always wanted to do archery, And she mentioned that she always saw archers up at UCSD, and why don't I go and check out and see if maybe I could get in on that? And they wound up being SCA folks. I just sort of came up to Potrero on a whim and had a wonderful time and decided I think I want to do this.
Is there anything about, I mean, you mentioned the archery and things like that. Is there anything that really, other than that really draws you in or that you really enjoy? What are some of the things you like to do here?
Gosh, I enjoy all of the different arts and just the whole sense of community with the SCA. Everybody is very, very good to each other. Getting to actually see all of the fighting, and for me the chivalry and the fact that there's such an emphasis on just being excellent to your fellow humans is a really great thing. So
you mentioned the chivalry a lot during the tour.
Yes.
That's sort of the mantra around here.
The biggest thing for me is that it's about honoring both yourself and reflecting yourself in a way that is worthy of the respect that everybody is giving you, but also honoring your fellow people and just being polite and treating people with respect, which sometimes in the modern day hustle and bustle of things you don't see as much. And I think it's really nice that people take the time to really acknowledge each other and just be excellent to one another here.
I think it's important to know this is all volunteer. So you
Yes.
volunteered to take us around, and you volunteer. How does somebody get involved with that if they want to do that?
Well, if you'd like to get involved with volunteering, it is actually very easy. You can go to anybody who is currently volunteering in a position within the SCA, or at a big event like this, you can go to what we call Base Camp, and there will have a place that has sign-ups for what sort of volunteering you can do there at the event. But on a longer term basis, you can actually just talk to any officer. So that's a big thing with the SCA, is letting people be involved and letting them find their niche, and service is definitely a niche within the SCA. So if ever anybody is interested in something that anybody's doing here, whether it's arts or service or combat, if you just walk up and ask that person, what are you doing and how can I start doing that, they will be more than happy to help you.
That's amazing. Well, Lady Isolde, I want to thank you for the tour. It was beautiful, and I want to thank you for talking with me.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure.
You have a great day.
You too.
Happy war, right?
Yes, happy war.
Excellent.
So these folks have lots of different types of clothing, pants that are all different sizes.
So we're looking at like wool, cotton.
Wool, cotton, and linen are the
Wool,
three
cotton,
main
and
fabrics
linen.
that they have. Sometimes you'll find cashmere, just for extra luxury and comfort. Nice aluminum, T6 aircraft aluminum knees.
Yeah, and
Elbows. Demi-gallows. Yep, so this goes on right here. You strap it up so that it stayed on your wrist.
Any one of these is ideal for home defense.
Something actually the folks at SCA figured out about the same time that the scientists did, because that technology. No, and a lot of people will import it from Eastern Europe. For a while there, we have sarsaparilla and sodas, and then we also have sandwiches, Kivahan coffee.
Hey folks, we are here talking with Mahmoud. You do Turkish coffee here at the SCA, right?
yes, we do.
What is Turkish coffee, first of all?
Turkish coffee is sort of one of the progenitor original varieties of coffee that's ever happened. Coffee came from somewhere in the Middle East, obviously the Arabica bean, and when they would do coffee and make coffee, they would do it in hot sand. What we in the modern era see as coffee now comes from that original idea.
Awesome. So it translates well into the whole SCA of sort of the historical accuracy and the
Yes.
learning and everything like that about
It
it,
is
right?
very period, absolutely. It's fun to be able to recreate something from the history and from past that's sort of recognizes the roots of something. And it's cool because the Turkish shot is one of the stronger sort of espresso shots. The coffee is very Ethiopia, Yirgacheffe, and it tastes amazing.
Now, do you just do the SCA with the coffee, or do you take the coffee to other...
No, we do this just here for these.
Just here?
Just for the SCA.
Awesome, awesome. And you're a member of the SCA, you participate. Do you do anything else? Do you fight, or do you...
No, sir.
Just the coffee?
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Sure.
It's a lot. It's a full-time gig. So when we come down here, we set all this up for everybody, and we're pretty much open from early in the morning till 9 in the evening for everybody who wants to come get their coffee and go about and have fun in the rest of the event.
Now, where did you first find out about like the Turkish coffee, the process? Like, did you have to do a lot of research to figure out about it, or is it readily available? Or
You can find out that stuff online on the internet. You can Google it all. I can't take all the credit for it. My wife, this is originally her shop. She's the brains behind the outfit. I'm just the pretty face. She has always loved historical accuracy. She's loved Turkish coffee. She loves the culture, the people. She's an archaeologist herself, so she's always had a love of history.
then this is sort of a way to, I guess, live it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
A lot of the people here in the SCA are very dedicated craftsmen. They're very creative. There's a strong sense of what I call geek culture.
And it's all about getting away from the real world for a little bit, right? Even with your coffee, even with something as simple as coffee.
Even with coffee.
Drink something that you wouldn't drink Monday morning.
Exactly. You know, modern life being what it is, to be able to like sort of decompress, step away for a weekend, and just meet a lot of like-minded, fun, great people is a lot. It's very enjoyable to do.
And you're not going to find this in a Keurig.
No, you will not get this in a Keurig.
Hey folks, I am here with Dennis. Dennis is one of the food merchants here at Potrero War. Why do you come to Potrero War? What about the SCA excites you?
You know, the SCA brings everybody together. We do a lot of Renaissance fairs, pirate festivals, and this is the most fun because everybody here is here to have a good time. From late night to early morning and all day long, it's a great environment.
Right on. And have you always been doing the merchant thing, or did you come about it? How did you get into doing this sort of thing?
20 years ago, I was introduced to the SCA. I've always been a merchant. We've been doing food now for 10 years, doing the SCA for about 6.
And is it a little different, say, than running at other festivals? Do you kind of have fun with it? Like, obviously, one of the sandwiches here is called the Dragon Burger and Dragon Toes.
Yeah, in all the fairs, we look at it as we can make things a little more exciting just by having fun with it. You know, anybody can serve something that's normal. We serve the normal with a little bit of flair to it and a little bit of excitement. So, you know, anytime that we can turn around and make fun of something, it's more fun for everybody.